let's start with our affirmation for the day, and that is, God is my help in every need. And just as a reminder from our Old Testament lesson this morning, because I actually do try to go and pick the scripture lessons to match what I'm going to talk about so that they're somewhat relevant. You may recall the Old Testament lesson from the book of Proverbs: a man's heart deviseth his way, but the Lord directeth his steps. So I think that we talk about that a lot. I talk about that a lot on Sundays, that we have our own ideas, our own goals, our own agendas, and we're going down the path and we hit a wall and we have to make a left or a right when we weren't planning on it. Well, that's God sending us to where we need to be. So that is, even if we don't know that we're getting it, that's God's help to us in every need. And we also want to be aware that for the times that we are going directly down the road the way that we want to go, that God is with us to help us in every need. I was reading in the Unity magazine earlier this week an interesting analogy about life. Imagine a dozen or so people. We're all standing behind a dark wall, and progressively as you move up, there are these narrow holes in the wall. And the first person looks through the hole, and he says, "Oh, you know what? There's trees and grass out there. That's the world. That's the whole world. That's what I see." And the next person, his hole's a little larger. He's, "No, you know what? There's trees and grass and a lake. I see the whole world. That's the whole world." And of course, progressively it goes up. And the fellow near the end says, "Oh, there's trees and houses and lakes. I see the whole world." And of course, this is a good analogy to our life with God in it, with God helping us along the way. So as we're young, especially being New Thought students, or even young people before we get introduced to the faith, we look at life through this narrow hole and we see, well, there's me and there's the world, and so I just need to go in it and conquer it and do the best I can because that's all there is. And then maybe as you get a little older, you might go to Sunday school and you're like, well, there is somebody else looking down on me, so the world's a little bigger than I thought, because if I do anything wrong, I'm going to get in trouble and I'm not going to go to heaven, so I got to be good. And so you progressively go up, and your vision of the world gets a little bit larger because of the introduction you have to your faith. And of course, I like to think of us as New Thought students. Our spot is when the wall ends. So there's nothing in our way. We can see everything. We do have the best view of the whole entire world because we know about this relationship with God. We know that God isn't just this being, who's up there writing down every bad thing you did so that, at the end of your days, you have to answer for this. We know that this is an interactive part of our daily life. It's not just us against the world. It's us and God working with the world in harmony. And so we know that God is our help in every need. So our question this week, as you're going throughout your chores and your work and your business throughout the week, ask yourself, do I walk with God through every moment, through every activity, through every challenge, and every opportunity? A lot of times we lose sight of some of our New Thought faith, and as we go through our moments, we can lose sight of our faith in a moment and maybe say an angry word out of turn, or in some of our activities, we forget to remember that God is with us. God is helping us every step of the way through that activity. So we need to be aware of that. And certainly during the challenges. I'm sure we've all read before, and a lot of times it's on the cover of our order of service, the wonderful poem Footprints, and how, the man questions, how come at the most challenging times of my life there was only one set of footprints? And of course the answer was, that's because those were the times that I was carrying you. So remember that God is with us, especially during your challenges, and certainly during opportunities. Let your relationship with God, let it guide and direct you to take the most of every opportunity that is presented to you. And the good news is that remembering God in all that you do, we're free from the burden of worry or fear. That's very important because a lot of times we all face different challenges. I know in the coming weeks, I'm going to go and spend a week with a friend who's going through chemotherapy, who was recently diagnosed with cancer, and has a lot of fear and concern. And unfortunately, this is a person who comes to our fellowship, so it can be challenging to impart our faith and our understanding to people who, for the first time. So anyways, we know that without God, without our faith and our understanding, a lot of things are a lot scarier. There's a lot more cobwebs and dark corners. And the reality is they're mostly just paper tigers. We just have to kick through them. And having God with us, knowing that God helps us in every circumstance, in every situation, certainly helps us walk through that. So remember, we are free from the burden of worry and fear. We can let go of concern, too, as we focus on the all-powerful, all-knowing presence that guides our way. And I really loved that when I got this, because I got this from one of the Unity publications, that we can let go of our concern as we focus on the all-powerful, all-knowing presence that guides our way. So it's there. We just have to connect with it and know that it's there and be aware of it, that all-knowing, all-guiding presence. And it's always there and it's always available to all of us. And we are free to express our innate talent, free to act from a foundation of wisdom, strength, and faith. And we can boldly state, I am free as I let go and I let God help me in every need. Because again, as our affirmation, God is my help in every need. So make sure that you take that with you, and as you walk through your processes this week, know that you're not alone in any circumstance or any situation. God is with you in every single need.